So are we going to do our top 100 games of all time yet? You ready with your list?
I need a lot of time to think through and really organize my thoughts, and I'm typing this up at the moment.
Okay. Yo, Tarrant, you've done your list yet for 100 games?
I not yet. I do really need to focus on that, and I'm learning rules at the moment.
So when are you gonna do it?
Next week.
Okay. Hey, Tarrant, are you working on that top 100 game list?
Not yet. No. After we played Night Soil last week, I had this compulsion to write an essay on sanitation in Tudor London, so I'm just working on that.
Okay, so when are you going to start working on your list?
Finish this here, edit, probably 2 weeks from now.
Tarrant, that list,
List?
the 100 list, 100 game.
Sorry, I got distracted by this model. You remember when we got these models?
Ooh,
It's kind of fun to put together.
that really cute. No, that list, quick, come on, when are you gonna have it?
Alright, no, I'll work on it next week.
You sure?
Yes.
Promise? Okay.
Isn't that right, Miss
Tarrant, what are you doing? Where's your list?
I'm working on my ventriloquist act. Hmm?
I can see your mouth moving.
That's why I'm working on it. Huh?
So where's your list?
List? List is not needed for Wizdor the wizard. Next week?
Promise? Fine. What are you doing?
Well, you remember we lost the remote control last week, so I thought I'd attach it to a large block of wood so that we wouldn't lose it again.
So hang on, stop. Have you done your list yet?
No, this we lost this yesterday. It's very important.
Well, you're clearly procrastinating.
Really?
Can't you just do your list? Just go and do it now. That's okay. I'll chain it to the sofa or whatever.
All right. There we go. It took weeks of hard and difficult decision making, shortlisting and culling, but I finally have my top 100 games ready to share.
Well done. I'm so proud of you, Tarrant. Well done. Finally.
Yes. You got your list?
What? I still have to work on it. Just leave me alone. This dog game is really cute. We are here now to fulfill our promises to share you our top 100 games of all time. It takes us long enough, Tarrant.
It does, yes. I mean, you have to exist for all time to do the list, so.
Yeah, that's true. And hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant here.
Welcome to Meeple University. We might have seen our videos promising this video coming out. Now here is the time, but we're going to start with game number 96 to 100 because, you know, it's not 10. Like, it's technically 10, but we're doing 5 each. So it's not going to be too big.
Yes, this is going to be a long journey that you'll come on as we go through these top games.
So we are going to try to be efficient. So we're going to say the game name and we're going to say quickly an overview of the game and then what we love about it.
And I must say, it is very difficult to come up with a top 100 board games over a long period of time. It's really because it's not just comparing apples with oranges. There's like 5 different.
Violent. Sorry, you say it's really difficult.
It is.
Yeah, no.
It is. It's like comparing 5 different types of fruits, like
That's
apples,
correct,
oranges, and grapes. So you're really light games, and then you've got big chunky durians and jackfruits that you're trying to compare.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yes, and indecisiveness as well.
Yeah. And it's also, one of the things I realise, what you remember about a game a lot of the time is how it made you feel. And how it made you feel could depend a lot on where you are in your board game journey.
That's
I mean,
true.
the gateways, I still have really good feelings about some gateway games that I don't play that often anymore. Because they were new and exciting, and for where they were pitched at me at that time, they really hit the mark. And they're games that I might not be as amenable to if I were playing them for the first time now.
Yeah. And then
So-
there's a lot of variation of those games as well. Now, like the trick taking, now there's the Crew, there's Rebel Princess, and so on. So just so many games.
Yeah. But if you forced me to cull my collection to 100, I'd be pretty happy with this 100.
So one more thing is that we have done, or you might have seen our top 10, top 100, or not top 10 of the year video, or top 20. I usually do top 20. And since then, it could change in this list. Like in this list, and you're like, oh, but that was like, it's down the bottom, but now it's up, because it could be like we've played this game more. And we found it even more enjoyable. So it could happen.
Or less.
Or less, yeah, there you go. No, it won't be less. It's usually more.
Yeah. And certainly the approach I've taken is that every game is based and ranked on its best version, its best combination of expansions, its best player count. It gets ranked on its best quality.
Best board game play partner?
Yes, that has a role as well.
Thank you. Oh, not me. I'm not talking about me. I'm just like saying like just other people, our friends. All right, let's get to it, Tarrant.
Yes.
My number 100 is a game that is really simple. It is part of our board game meetup collection. It is called Drop It. Drop it like it hot. Drop it like it hot. It is a game about dropping pieces, so it meets the requirements, so things should not touch certain things or the same shape, same color, and also getting points on the side of the 3D board.
Yeah, it's a very simple icebreaker. Drop pieces in,
Basically.
see where they fall, and the game is always live because the scores escalate as the game goes on.
And what I love about it, because it's just so simple, but it plays, it's a good icebreaker. It's such a great game, and you can do something else. You can watch something and play this. And me and Tarrant is just like a 2 players, great 2 players, can play up to 4 players. But it's an awesome and just different than the others, a bit of dexterity, and it's just very intense when you drop the pieces. That's what I love about it.
Number 100 for me is a very recent game. I've tried to not have too much of a recentist bias across this, but this is one that has appealed to me very recently, and that is Fission. So this was a trick-taking game which came out late in 2024, and it is, I'll talk a bit about trick-taking as we go through this journey, because there's a few trick-taking games in there, but I generally am not that big of a fan of trick-taking games where it's all about just getting the most tricks blindly and scoring points for tricks. But this one works really well because it has this subtle deck building element which also works as a catch-up, and that just makes it a really fun game. Every round you're playing, at the start of the game it's a standard kind of deck with no trumps, and you're just playing cards, and if you win them you get a point for every card you take. And then if you don't have enough, then that becomes your deck for the next round. And if you don't have enough, you start drawing cards from the powerful deck. And so you've got this balance where, all right, I had a bad round, but I know I've got some good cards now, so I can start claiming points here. And it sort of goes through this ebb and flow over 8 rounds. And you're trying to work out, all right, well, do I get 4 points by winning this trick here? It's got a bunch of low cards in it that are going to hurt me later. And then at some point you have to pivot to just getting points. So
yeah.
It's really quick. For anyone who's played a trick-taking game with playing cards before, it's really quick to pick up and very simple and very fun. And I think they've really hit on something very clever.
It's very high standard there, Tarrant. It's just like, this is your number 100, you know. You're like the first of the bottom. We'll see what happens next.
We've played like 1,500 games, 2,000 games. That puts this well up the top.
That's actually true. Number 99 for me is one from Phil Walker Harding, Cacao. Or Cacao?
Cacao. It's a tile placement game. A bit different sort of tile placement game. You are checkerboarding tiles out there with your own tiles that have workers on different sides.
Very interactive.
Yeah. And there's tiles that come from a supply, and you'll place them, and as they interact, you'll do various things. So if your workers are next to the cacao plants, then you'll collect some, or you'll sell them if it's next to a village or things like that. And it's kind of got that, that Euro, there's 5 things to do kind of thing about it, but the tile placement is what is different.
What I love about it is because it is a common tile placement, so you don't actually build your own area. The fact that you sometimes don't want to put something there because like the tile has got like different 4 sides, and then if you put something and then the next time your opponent open up for your opponent to actually go there with the tiles, if they have it, that's also, another factor, and then activate that things that, touch each other. So that's what I love about it, cacao. Just it's oldie but goodie.
Number 99 for me is a midweight Euro from a few years ago called Simurg. And it was a bit of a different kind of game, and I know it wasn't really that popular, but it has a feature in it which I sort of also see in games like Whistle Mountain and things like that, where you start with it's a worker placement, and you start with a pretty standard set of worker placement action spaces. And then while the game is playing, players add extra worker placement spaces to the board, and they're more powerful ones, usually much more powerful ones. And I mean, that's not uncommon. You get that in Lords of Waterdeep and things like that. But the ones in Simurg are there for a short time, and then once they've been spammed too much, they go away.
Short time, but a good time.
Yeah, and it's a mechanism that I find, again, I mentioned Whistle Mountain because that kind of happens as well. You get this high-scoring thing that appears, and you spam it, and then it disappears. And I like that kind of feature in a game. It's a bit of a strange thing to see. You don't get that linear, I can plan everything out. You've got to swing to what's out there. And so I like flexing to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tiles. There's there's an expansion that adds a bunch of other modules to it as well. So there's lots of fun ways to play it. And so, I really enjoy Simurg.
Number 98 for me is Ariantis.
Yes, and this was a 2021, I think,
Yes,
re-release of...
That's correct.
It was a re-implementation, re-theme, and slight update to a 2001 game called Carolus Magnus.
Jeez, you have good memory, Tarrant.
Yes, and it was a Spiel des Jahres nominee.
Oh yeah.
Back in 2001 as well. This is it's a 2 or 3 player game or a 4-player partnership game. And it's kind of a multi-layered area majority. So you'll have a series of students or discs in different colours, and you either place them into your array, where if you have the most out of any player, it becomes your colour, or you place them out on the islands. And if an island has the most pieces of your colours, then you claim that island. And the islands start to merge together, and you have to be the one who gets all of your towers onto islands first.
The original game was Spiel des Jahres nominee back then. I wish I would have probably won because it's such a great game. And what I love about it is the difficult decision how you play the card, when to play the cards, whether you want it on your row, whether you want it on the island, and time. The rules is very, I mean, it's not that difficult. It's quite simple, in fact. And you have to actually look at opponents as well. You have to kind of like see, okay, that person's already played that card, and so, okay, they're not going to play that card again, and that would affect the strategy and your decision as well. Now, in terms of team play, I wish there are more games that would have team play. Like Concordia would have team play. Andromeda's Age and Dwellings of Everdale, they have team play. So I would like to see more games with team play because they're usually really fun. They scratch the itch of competitive and cooperative play at the same time.
Yes, that is something that I'm sure we'll both talk about many times going forward. I'm also quite a fan of partnership games, and when you get to my pointy end, I'm sure you'll see a few partnership games for exactly that reason. It gives you both a competitive and a cooperative, and the ability to have to think about what your teammate wants to do with limited communication. My number 98 is a heavy Euro game called Pipeline. And it's a game that has a mix of interaction and solo play. So It's very much a game of action efficiency because usually you've got pretty big choice of what action to take. It's kind of there's 10 actions to choose from and you've always got all the options available and you're doing it to build up your own network of oil pipelines that will refine the product. But where it becomes quite interactive is you have to fight to get in early to get the cheapest things or the best things from different stores and different locations. And you've always got the ability to get things which will allow you to do things more efficiently at a cost of more money. And you've got to really balance that out. And that makes for a really interesting gameplay. I know it's one that you struggle with because...
I also had that in mind, like it's spatial rotations I struggle with.
The actual tile building component where you build up your pipelines requires you to join domino pieces together that create long loops. And that's got a spatial element that we've said it on many of our things before. You just don't have internal head spatial rotation. And not everyone does. And that makes that sort of game quite hard. But for me, I can pick that sort of thing up, which means I'm looking for efficiencies and trying to get things ahead of others, contracts and so forth. So, it's a game that it feels mostly solitary. The interactions with the other players are more about getting things slightly cheaper or getting the perfect tile first, rather than being directly interactive, which is probably why this is not super high on my list, because the actual way that the economy fits together is really strong, and I definitely enjoy that part a lot.
Maybe if this game has partnership game, then we'll partner up and then I'll pick the tile and you put the one in the in the best rotation. Haha. Number 97 is Little Town. This was out probably 2019. It's about worker placement, it's about building your village, and it has high interaction.
Yes, it's the building of a shared village. You gain most of your points in the game by buying with resources and placing buildings out onto a common grid. And then how you get your resources is by placing workers and activating all of the adjacent buildings, whether they're yours or someone else's, although you have to pay for the privilege if it's someone else's.
See, it's kind of like you want to build that building. Is it going to benefit you the most, or is it going to benefit other players? And that's what I love about it. And the fact that it's farming. I do like farming video games, so I feel like just build something and then farm. It's very satisfying.
Number 97 for me is I sometimes call it a thinky filler, but it's kind of a filler plus. It's a little bit more on the complex side. Goblin Vaults. So this is we've already spoken about trick-taking once. It's a game that has a trick-taking mechanism in it, but it's not a pure trick-taker. You're using tricks as a means to work out what cards you get. And if you're winning tricks, you're taking cards from a display. If you're not winning tricks, you're taking the cards that you placed. And so you're trying to strategically work out the right times because you may want the card you placed or you may want the card in the display. And then as you get them, you're building them into a little tableau. And in that tableau, they will score for rows or columns or placements or things like that. So I'm always on the lookout for good thinky filler card games. And this one really does meet that for me. I find the interaction with other players on trying to work out when it's the card I want, how I can mess someone else up, how I can do both those things. When a card is particularly important, I really have to focus on it. It's got all of those tension points. It's got good tension points, and the scoring is not just about winning tricks or winning all the eights in the deck or anything like that. It's about getting the right card at the right time and building up something.
Number 96 is Last Wheel, a game about your old relative that's passed away and you're getting the inheritance and you need to spend everything to win the rest of the inheritance.
Yes, it is Brewster's Millions, the board game.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fundamentally. And it's a mid-weight Euro game from 2011, I think. So it's an older one. Yeah,
but it's got expansions since then.
It's a multi-phase worker placement kind of game. So it's a game that has a wake-up order as I'll call it. So in turn order, you pick how many actions or worker placements or things you're going to do. And then it's got a worker placement where based on how many workers you earned, you take your placements in turn order, and you can get the things that are most valuable. If you want first choice, you have to take fewer actions, and then you play cards. And it's all about doing things that cost money. So you can play a big party and combo it with things, and that will make you spend more money. Or you can you go out to dinner, but then you play a bunch of guests with it, and so it costs more
money.
Or you can buy a house and not maintain it and trash it and let it depreciate and then sell it. And there's a few worker placement actions as well to either take things before your opponents want them or to switch up house prices and things like that.
What I love about it is the mechanic. It's very timely. You have to time your thing right, otherwise you don't get the best thing out of the board. And the theme is just hilarious. As you heard Tarrant, like how to spend the most money. It's kind of like the reverse of all other games. All other games you need to gain money, and this is like how you spend the most money. You're gaining things like you say, the dinner party. You have to invite extra guests, and then you can spend more money. So whoever's spend the most money wins. Last wheel.
Yes, it does make it quite fun from the thematics. There's no reason they couldn't have built the game completely in reverse and everything where you're spending money, you're actually gaining it.
Yes, yeah.
No reason they couldn't have done that. But
that is fun.
They put it in the reverse way and did that whole Brewster's Millions thing, and it makes for a fun theme. All right, which brings us to my number 96, and the last one for this video, and that is Burgle Brothers. This is the original Burgle Brothers. There have been two that have come out. I enjoyed the first one more. And this is a pandemic-style cooperative game. Action point allowance, 4 actions per turn. Player takes their actions, and then the game does stuff too, and so on. I mean, that's a pandemic-style co-op, right?
Yes.
There's so many of those out there. And I always found this one to be one of the most fun. You're trying to steal things across, there's 3 stories in a building, and you go from one up to the next, and there's walls and there's guards that move around. And you're trying to reveal tiles. You've got to choose whether to look ahead or whether alarms are going to come in. And there's all kind of fun little bits of chaos that happen. So it's a bit less predictable a game than something like a Pandemic.
What, do you think Pandemic is predictable?
Well, you know what cards are on the top of the deck. You can do those sorts of things. There's a bit more fluky stuff that kind of happens here, but it's fun fluky stuff, and it does give you that sense of trying to find and steal things from a building. So, again, it was one that came out in a big wave of pandemic-style co-ops that you saw a lot of through the first half of the 2010s, and this was one of my favourites of them.
If we have relevant videos about the games we talk about, we'll link it in the description below. And hopefully you enjoy it. Share me your games of this week or this month. I want to know.
Well, tell me your 96th favourite game. I'm very interested.
96th favourite game. And we'll come back for our 91 to 95 games later. Thanks for watching. Bye.